stop this? What could be done to help those who are actually on the ground and suffering? And what could be done quickly so that their suffering is not allowed to last any longer at all? And what is extraordinary is that actually action has emerged from this summit, and it is something that is quite rare in a sense when you get this many heads of state together to deal with something as difficult as it is. And so we are going to see people going into Libya over the next few days to try and rescue those migrants, to give them the option of going home, and also a task force to try and take on militarily and with police forces the traffickers that are responsible. And the reason that we've seen action is that indignation that I referred to, Robin, was so great. Have a listen to what the Malian foreign minister had to say to us a little earlier about his reaction to CNN's pictures.
Of course, we got some reports here and there from the social media, also from the Commission for Human Rights of the UN and by IOM, but frankly, maybe none of us have really realized the magnitude of what was happening. That's why these images really came as really a great reminder for all of us that we have maybe crossed a line, that something needs to be done to stop it. Because this is clearly a crime against humanity.
You didn't know about that?
That we have on earth.
What about the north of your own damn country? You didn't know about Azawad?
To be tried and judged.
Stop playing.
So you are seeing concrete action coming out of the sense of that outrage that has been universally expressed. Another African leader on the sideline of this summit said, look, yes, this is about slavery in Libya, but it is also beyond the chaos of the state that allows it to happen, the racism that is allowed to happen, as well. And these images have really proven to be something of a wake-up call. And what you're likely to see is huge international efforts now to bring this to an end, Robin.
Okay, but then my question is, what about those people who've risked everything to try and get to Europe and they don't want to go back home?
It is an excellent question, and there are those who are going to choose to go home who have expressed, and we've already seen some of them coming back, but through piecemeal efforts. We've seen groups of Nigerians return to Nigeria, Malians to Mali, Ivorians here to Ivory Coast over the last few days. So there are those who are taking up the offer when they're made, and authorities here in sub-Saharan Africa hope that many of them will accept to come home. But you're quite right, there are those who've gone so far that they simply will not. Now, something that the French president has been pushing for over the course of the last few weeks and months is the idea that before they cross the Sahara in countries like Niger and Mali, there could be centers that tried to process their applications early on. And some of them may be fast tracks, therefore, beyond the Sahara, beyond the Mediterranean, beyond that dreadful journey, straight to Europe. So there are those who will go home, and there are those whose asylum applications will be considered and fast tracked. And it's going to be really interesting to see over the course of the coming days how that is put in place, Robin.
Yeah, certainly.
Y'all do realize the narrative that they pushing is that them people want to be sold so they can get to Europe, right? Y'all do realize that, right?
Could be saved, certainly, from the nightmare of human slavery. But they're also, as I said, facing their end of their dream of a better life. So I want you to listen to a migrant who recently returned to the Ivory Coast and others talking about why they leave and what they find in Libya.
When you look at that and look at the house you live in, which is barely a house in a poor neighborhood, you tell yourself that you can also go abroad and live like them. And that's why I left for Europe.
Even if the ocean was made out of electricity, we will continue to go there because we're struggling here in our countries. As soon as you arrive in Libya, the first thing happening is that you are taken away and you are sold. Our black brothers from West Africa, wherever you are from, a Malayan, a Senegalese, or any other nationality from the West, even an Ivorian, you are sold for what? For about 1,000 dinars.
Libya is hell. I don't encourage anyone, any Ivorian, to go to this place, because it is really hell.
Powerful voices there, and also to learn more about slavery and to see CNN's full report, which sparked this important international conversation, head to cnn.com/.